Hello everyone, how you going? Welcome back to some more Heritage Minutes, everyone's favourite 1 minute movies, and so this time we're just starting out with Sam Steele.
Oh, he sits there in his red coat all spit and polished, and he says,
Where would you be going?
Well, I'm going to the Klondike to look at your gold fields, if there really is any.
Not with this gambling gear and those revolvers. Men don't wear pistols in Canada.
Canada be damned, I'm going to the Klondike.
The Klondike is Canada. Pack those pistols in your saddlebags or get back to U.S. territory.
I'm an American. You can't do this to me.
In that case, I'll be lenient. We'll keep this gambling gear and you'll be back in the United States by sundown.
he never drew no gun. I could have shot that guy right there. Who was he anyway?
Superintendent Sam Steele of the Northwest Mounted Police.
Why didn't I shoot him? Damn it.
In the days of the gold rush, a policeman, Sam Steele, became a legend of the Klondike.
I don't know. Why didn't I shoot him?
Now that was certainly interesting, but I feel like I'm missing a lot of context about, I guess the gold rush is what I picked up from there, but really the Klondike, no idea what that's about and what it is, and I feel like that's basically what this entire Heritage Minute is centered around, but no, other than that, it's certainly an interesting thing. Well, this stance right here, right, where you can quite clearly see just how calm he is, the man in the red coat, I believe he said.
He sits there in his red coat all spit and polished.
He sits there in his red coat all spit and polished. It is certainly a good way to describe it, but look at him. I would never have been able to tell that that was a police officer looking at that. Like, how the mighty have fallen. Look at their uniforms. I mean, perhaps that's actually where it started from. Was it part of the military before his police? I don't know. But just the fact that even though this guy is clearly going there to gamble and I don't even know what else, obviously just up to no good, he still just stays calm, keeps his arms folded and just gives him all the information. And really, after he gets the pistols drawn on him, after he's going, well, you're clearly not Canadian because men in Canada don't carry pistols, which I feel like this is just the perfect image to represent that. Like, literally double revolvers just pointed at him, what, 30 centimeters away, and not even phased because he just knows how this is going to go. Like you said, I'm going to be lenient this one time. You had your other options, you didn't take it, you chose the hard route, and now you're just going to be escorted back to the USA border by nightfall. So it certainly takes a hell of a person to be able to just stand your ground like that without even standing your ground, but I still want to know, how did he kind of get so acclaimed and so well known? Because all I've been able to gather from this Heritage Minute is that he was sending people back that didn't really belong, and so maybe just scrolling down, is that going to be able to do it? The legendary Mountie Avixa, an American gambler from the Yukon during the oh, that's how you spell it, okay. But no, that certainly doesn't give me much information besides the fact that I've learned that he's a mounted unit as well. I guess they were probably all mounted units, surely. Surely you wouldn't want to be walking through the Rocky Mountains just on foot. You've got a lot of area to cover and just a lot of people are just kind of sneaking through otherwise, I can only imagine. And so considering the fact that this guy says this,
Why didn't I shoot him? Damn it.
I mean, really, that just sums it all up, doesn't it? You literally had double revolvers pointed at a guy that you had no intention of really shooting, and then now upon finding out that he's a policeman, you just wish you did the deed? It doesn't really make sense, especially given the guy in the back. It just would never have worked well, and so clearly this guy, the gambler from the USA, just doesn't really have any idea of what's right and what's wrong and what he should be doing, besides just going home. But anyway, now moving on to our second one, we have Marion Orr.
That's Spitfire delivery from Coventry, sir. It sounds like air to ground, but it can't be.
Nobody could fly in this suit.
Oh,
Hello. He's right. It is a Spitfire.
Hanger.
We've got a delivery landing.
Landing? We missed. Lads! Storm landing, sir. That's many chaps would even fly on a day like this.
Thanks, Corporal. Any chance of this breaking up? I got another one this afternoon.
No idea, sir. Ma'am.
179 ferry assignments. I suppose your dream is to break 200.
You know what my dream is? To go home when this is all over. Find a grass strip somewhere in Ontario. Teach flying.
The car is ready.
Gentlemen?
fair enough.
Marion Orr would achieve her dream and become the first woman in Canada to run a flying school.
Ha ha! Well, this is certainly a very upbeat and up-tempo military one. Usually they just show a little bit more of the war aspect, but this one just went, no, it's just she's landed a plane in the middle of, I don't even know what kind of fog you'd call that. I guess like they said, that pea soup. No one should realistically be flying in that. I guess in modern day standards you'll be completely fine with all the technology, but just using your two eyeballs on the front of your head just to fly through that and land it just perfectly in those kind of planes, ooh, you got to be a hell of a pilot. And so to be honest, I would be quite trusting in terms of her ability to teach as well, you know, obviously a very adept flyer, and I'm sure just given that she was quite successful apparently, that she went on to just teach a whole bundle of people to fly pretty darn well. And I guess the only thing that I would like to know a bit more is, what did he say?
179 ferry assignments. I suppose your dream is to break 200.
Yeah, 179 ferry assignments. I don't really know what a ferry assignment is. Is that ferrying people? Is it ferrying cargo? That certainly wasn't a very cargo plane being a Spitfire. Either way, she certainly wasn't fazed by any of that. She just wanted to go home and just find what was it, a strip of
You know what my
grass?
dream is? To go home when this is all over. Find a grass strip somewhere.
Oh, find a grass strip, not a strip of grass. I guess there's a little bit of a difference, but she isn't interested in doing it for any fame or glory or anything like that. No, she just seems to genuinely love flying, and obviously that's what you want out of a teacher as well, and so yeah, just more power to her. But anyway, now moving on to our third one, we have Emily Murphy.
But the Supreme Court of Canada agreed, you see. I could not become a senator because under the British North America Act, as a woman, I was not a person. I, Emily Murphy, author of the Janie Canuck books, pioneer in the war against narcotics, first female magistrate in the Empire, but not a person.
It just sounds
So we took it all the way to London. A group of Canadian women laboring 10 long years against ridicule. Husbands saying, there, dear. Until those noble lords of the Privy Council agreed in 1929. I, Emily Murphy of Alberta, and all Canadian women after me. Persons under the law.
Well, it just sounds completely ridiculous to be saying it, even in 1929. Like, honestly, if you said it was maybe the 1600s, I'd go, okay, maybe. But the fact that it was less than 100 years ago and these women are still fighting just to be labeled as persons, not even to, I guess, have it all the same rights, just to be labeled as persons under the law, it honestly just sounds ridiculous. And that's why I was just going, hang on, what am I listening to? The fact that these women had to actively fight for 10 years and just laboriously go to London and back, I'm sure, all just to be labeled as a person, it just doesn't even sound real. But hey, good on them for just pushing and pushing and pushing, and Emily Murphy seemed to be the front woman. The single shot of this Heritage Minute was quite powerful. It just held your attention the entire time as it just panned around, you know, her gaze just unwavering. Okay, I was about to say, did she even blink? And then I saw her blink. But really, she just starts out by listing her accomplishments, and you just go, well, how are you not even a person, let alone just an incredible person? And even the fact that she was limited by the fact that there was some piece of paper under an act, not the fact that they couldn't go, oh yeah, you're human, you're this, and not even meeting the credentials, or you're not a smart person, we don't think you fit the role. None of that. It's like, sorry, you're not a person. That's the only thing holding her back. And the fact that they agreed to the entire thing, like, oh yeah, you know, it's now the 1920s, for goodness sake, not the 1620s, or I guess even, let's say, the 1750s, 1800s, when I guess that act probably would have been introduced in the first place. No, it is now, like I said, less than 100 years ago, creeping up towards 100 years ago now, and she is still just being governed by all these rules that don't even make sense in the first place. And like I was saying, it wasn't like she doesn't have the credentials. She's sitting here giving all of her accomplishments and everything, and just going, oh, hang on a second, she didn't just stick to women's rights or anything like that. No, she also did, what did she say?
Author of the Janie Canuck books, pioneer in the war against narcotics, first female magistrate in the Empire, but not a person.
Like, it doesn't even make sense. From the fact that her name would have been on the books that she published, no, that doesn't count as a person. The fact that you were fighting for people to be a little bit healthier in terms of against narcotics, no, that doesn't count as people. Let alone the fact above them all that she was already a magistrate. Like, really, the difference between a magistrate and a senator can't be that much, to the degree that, like, oh, you're not a person and you're fine to go in. It just doesn't even sound real, or maybe just some random joke that doesn't make sense. Either way, just for her to say, I'm not a person, but I'm all of this, and all these other women after me or before me have never been persons. So honestly, it's just what I love most about Heritage Minutes. They just bring to light all of these people that you might have never heard of, but they've just completely changed the course of history. But anyway, now moving on to our fourth one, we have J.S. Woodsworth.
I said it in the House and I say it now. Is it too much to ask?
My party does not have a majority in the Commons, Mr. Woodsworth, unless I have the support.
Is it too much to ask that Canada take care of poor people, 70 years of age, who built this country?
A pension?
Well, you and Mr. Heaps are the Labour Party. You hold the balance of power. Perhaps in a coalition, I'm offering you a seat in cabinet, Mr. Woodsworth.
I'm on it, sir. But no.
Mr. Heaps, be my Minister of Labour?
Mr. King, I can't do that. But the Labour Party would support you on old age pensions.
Oh.
In that case, it's not too much to ask, Prime Minister.
Some say Mackenzie King got exactly what he wanted when Canada's first old age pensions bill became law in March 1927.
1927, hang on a second. Does that mean that, wait, what? I just had to come back to this one because the years just lined up in my head, or actually more so didn't line up to the point where I go, hang on a second.
Until those noble lords of the Privy Council agreed in 1929.
In 1929, so they got an old age pension, which I would think would be a fairly modern concept in the grand scheme of things, before these women were considered to be people. Anyway, just leaving that one behind because now we're on to J.S. Woodsworth, which clearly obviously an old age pension is a great thing for so many people. It just allows people not to work themselves to the bone or work themselves to the coffin. And yes, I'm sure it would have been a massive political thing in terms of where's the money going to come from, who's going to support it, all these different things. But then just having a council meeting like this in 1926 in Laurier House, is that the Parliament House? I don't know. And I feel as though that's not the only piece of history, knowledge and context that I'm missing about this Heritage Minute. I mean, being political, there's certainly just a massive list of things that I don't know. But what I gathered from this, it was just these three guys from different parties. I guess the Labour. Who was the J.S. Woodsworth? Who was he in relation to?
Well, you and Mr. Heaps are the Labour Party. You hold the balance of power.
Oh, so is he also part of the Labour Party? But then who's the Prime Minister? Surely he's part of the Labour Party, or is that not how it worked? That's just where I'm getting a little bit confused as to who belongs to who. I don't know who this guy is either, but I guess these are two Labour senators. Either way, I guess this is just a meeting of the minds going, okay, this is what you want. Now, how can we weave this in? This is what I'm offering you. Okay, you didn't accept that. What else can we do? Okay, coalition maybe? No, that's not going to work. And then they just go around the table until they go, hang on a second, it's not that difficult. We all just have to agree on this one particular thing. The Labour Party will support you. Oh yeah, too easy. We'll get that through next week. And so the only question I have that really matters is just who came up with the idea of the pension in the first place? Were they copying it from Britain / England / the UK? Were they copying it from Australia or something? Or maybe even some other country that has the pension? Really, there were so many different avenues that it could have gone down, and really, like I said, I'm sure it is just quite a complicated thing when you're just trying to set it up at a governmental level, because it's all well and good to go, here you go, older people, just have some money, but to actually set that up so it works correctly and hopefully no one is going to be missing out is just an absolute minefield. And in saying that, I can only assume that they wouldn't have got it perfectly right the first time, and so hopefully it's something that has continued to evolve and gotten better and better and just include everything it needs to over the years and into modern times. And so you can only hope that more people like this are going to just come along, be in the right position at the right time, and just implement the things that need to be implemented. But anyway, in saying that, I reckon I'm going to call it there. So thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, feel free to do the YouTube algorithmic things down below. Also, if this is the first video of mine that you're watching, then make sure to check out just any other Heritage Minutes or just videos in general that I've done. Also, make sure to go check out all the original videos down in the description below, or hey, maybe even just want to consider subscribing so that you don't miss another one of these in the future. But all in all, have a good one and see ya.